There is a step that the law of attraction never taught you about money. A step that Neville Goddard discovered that makes the difference between a philosophy that sounds nice and a quantum mechanism that actually produces financial results. The law of attraction says, think about what you want. Neville Goddard says, feel what it is like to already have it. That difference between thinking and feeling is the missing step, and most people who practice the law of attraction for money have never been taught it. You did everything the law of attraction told you to do. You visualized. You created vision boards. You wrote affirmations. You believed as hard as you could that positive thoughts attract positive financial outcomes. And it did not work, or it worked partially, or it worked once and then stopped. And you blamed yourself. You thought you were not believing hard enough, not visualizing clearly enough, not being positive enough. But the problem was never you. The problem was that the step that makes the law of attraction actually work for money was never included in what you learned. Today you are going to learn exactly what that step is, why it makes all the difference, the neuroscience behind why thinking fails and feeling succeeds, and the precise method to apply the missing step to your financial life starting tonight. The law of attraction is not wrong, it is incomplete. And the difference between wrong and incomplete is everything. A map that shows you the right city but leaves out the bridge you need to cross to get there is not a wrong map. It is an incomplete map. You will drive to the right city. You will see the city across the river. But you will not arrive because the bridge is missing. The law of attraction is the map. The city is your desired financial reality, and the bridge is the step that Neville Goddard discovered. Without the bridge, you can see your wealth, you can imagine it, you can desire it, but you cannot reach it. The missing step is what the law of attraction calls vibration, but never properly explains how to produce. They say raise your vibration, match the vibration of wealth, be on the frequency of abundance, but they never tell you the specific mechanism by which your body produces a frequency. And without knowing the mechanism, you are left guessing, trying to think your way into a vibration, trying to be positive enough to change your frequency, and thinking and trying are precisely the actions that prevent the frequency from changing. The HeartMath Institute has proven that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. This means that your financial frequency is not determined by what you think, it is determined by what you feel. And there is an enormous difference between thinking about wealth and feeling wealthy. Thinking happens in your head. Feeling happens in your entire body. Thinking activates your brain. Feeling activates your heart, your gut, your nervous system, your electromagnetic field. And the quantum field, which is what actually organizes your physical reality, responds to your electromagnetic field, not to your thoughts. This is why the law of attraction produces inconsistent results. People think about money without feeling wealthy, and the quantum field, receiving a weak brain signal contradicted by a strong heart signal of lack, delivers lack. Not because the universe is against them, because the mechanism responds to the stronger signal, and the heart is always stronger than the brain. This explains one of the most frustrating paradoxes in the manifestation community. The people who try the hardest often get the worst results, and the people who seem to barely try often manifest effortlessly. The hard triers are operating from their brain. Intense visualization, forceful affirmation, determined belief, all brain activities, all producing weak electromagnetic signals, contradicted by a body that is tense, anxious, and desperate for results. The effortless manifestors are operating from their body. They feel wealthy, not because they are wealthy, because their nervous system is calibrated for calm, expansion, and openness. And those body states produce the electromagnetic frequency that the quantum field mirrors as financial abundance. The law of attraction taught people to try harder with their brains. Neville Goddard taught people to feel differently with their bodies. Same goal, opposite approach, and the results speak for themselves. Here is a practical demonstration of this principle that you can try right now. Think the thought, I am wealthy. Hold it for 10 seconds. Now check your body. Did your shoulders relax? Did your breathing change? Did your chest open? For most people, the answer is no. The thought happened in the brain. The body did not participate. Now try this instead. Without thinking any thought about money, take a slow, deep breath As you exhale, let your shoulders drop completely. Let your jaw soften. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. And notice what happens. Without a single thought about wealth, your body just produced a sensation of calm, openness, and safety that is neurologically identical to the feeling of financial peace. Your body did not need the thought. The thought needed the body, and the body is what produces the frequency. This is the missing step in its purest form. The law of attraction put the brain in charge and ignored the body. Neville Goddard put the body in charge and let the brain follow. And the body, which generates a field 5,000 times stronger than the brain, is what the quantum field actually listens to. Every night before sleep, every morning upon waking, every midday during the reset, the instruction is the same. Not think wealthy, feel wealthy. In the body, in the shoulders, in the chest, in the breath. That is where the frequency lives. That is where the signal broadcasts from. And that is where the missing step begins and ends. Neville Goddard understood this intuitively. He did not use the language of electromagnetic fields or the HeartMath Institute. He said that the feeling is the secret, not the thought, not the visualization, not the affirmation, the feeling. And he was right in a way that science can now measure. Before I reveal the exact method for applying the missing step to your finances, hit the like button and subscribe. This channel bridges the gap between the law of attraction and actual results by adding the neuroscience and quantum physics that the traditional teaching leaves out. Every video fills in a piece of the map that was missing. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new piece. And write in the comments, "I found the missing step." Those 5 words signal to your subconscious that the search is over. The step was found, and now the only thing left is to use it. The missing step has 3 components, and each component adds a layer of power that transforms the law of attraction from a mental exercise into a full-body quantum event. The first component is called shifting from thought to sensation, and it is where most people get stuck because nobody teaches them how. The law of attraction says, visualize your desire, and most people interpret this as creating a movie in their mind. They see the car, they see the house, they see the bank account number. But seeing is a brain activity, and brain activity produces a weak electromagnetic signal that the quantum field barely registers. The shift from thought to sensation means moving the experience from your brain into your body. Not seeing wealth, feeling wealth. And feeling is a specific physical sensation that you can learn to produce deliberately. Here is how. Close your eyes for a moment and think about money. Notice where the experience happens. It is probably in your head, behind your eyes, in the visual processing centers of your brain. Now shift. Stop thinking about money and instead feel what your body feels like when money is not a problem. Not when you have millions. When money is simply not a problem. When it is handled. When there is enough and you know it. What does your body feel like? Your shoulders drop. Your chest opens. Your breathing deepens. Your jaw unclenches. These are not mental events, these are physical sensations. And these physical sensations are what generate the electromagnetic signal that the quantum field responds to. The visualization was the map. The sensation is the bridge. A retired psychologist in her late 50s described this shift perfectly. She said, "I taught visualization to clients for 20 years, and for 20 years, I watched people visualize without results. When I learned about the shift from thought to sensation and started teaching clients to feel wealth in their bodies, instead of see wealth in their minds, the results changed dramatically. Same clients, same desires, different approach. The body sensation was the missing piece that my psychology training never covered. What can you do tonight? Before sleep, do not visualize money. Instead, produce the physical sensation of financial peace in your body. Drop your shoulders, open your chest, relax your jaw, deepen your breath. Let your body feel what it feels like when money is not a problem, and hold that sensation for 68 seconds. That body sensation, held in the theta state before sleep, is the missing step applied. Not thought. Sensation, not brain, body, not visualizing wealth. Feeling wealthy. The difference is everything. There is a scientific test you can do right now to prove that sensation is more powerful than thought. Think the words, "I am wealthy." Notice what happens in your body. Probably nothing. Maybe a faint response. Now do something different. Sit up straight. Drop your shoulders. Take a deep breath. Smile slightly. And as your body assumes this posture, notice what happens to your feeling about money. Something shifts. Without a single thought about wealth, your body produced a financial sensation simply by changing posture. That is because your body does not need your brain's permission to feel. It feels independently. And the feeling it produces based on posture, breathing, and muscle tension generates an electromagnetic signal that is measurably stronger than any thought you can produce. This is why some people manifest wealth by accident. They are not thinking about money, but their body is in a state of expansion, calm, and openness that produces the frequency of wealth without their conscious participation. And this is why some people think about wealth obsessively and remain poor. Because their body is in a state of contraction, anxiety, and tension that produces the frequency of poverty regardless of what their mind is imagining. The body always wins the frequency war. Always. And the missing step is simply giving the body the right instructions instead of leaving it on autopilot while the brain does all the work. The second component of the missing step is called temporal reversal, and it changes something even more fundamental than where the frequency comes from. It changes the direction of time in which your brain processes wealth. This is where Neville Goddard separated himself from every other manifestation teacher in history. And the neuroscience behind it explains why 5 years of law of attraction visualization can be outperformed by 3 weeks of this single shift. The law of attraction says, imagine your desire in the future. Neville Goddard says, remember your desire from the past. The difference is not semantic, it is neurological. When you imagine something in the future, your brain activates the prefrontal cortex, the planning center. This center is associated with uncertainty, evaluation, and doubt. Your brain literally processes future imagination with the same circuitry it uses for worry, which means that imagining a wealthy future and worrying about money activate overlapping neural networks. And the overlap contaminates your wealth imagination with the chemistry of worry. But when you remember something from the past, your brain activates the hippocampus and the temporal cortex, the memory centers. These centers are associated with certainty, familiarity, and settled knowledge. Your brain processes memories with the chemistry of facts, not the chemistry of wishes, and facts produce a completely different electromagnetic signal than wishes. A fact signal is stable, coherent, and powerful. A wish signal is fluctuating, uncertain, and weak. This is why Neville Goddard insisted on past tense. Not I will be wealthy, I am wealthy. Better yet, I remember when I became wealthy. That temporal shift from imagining forward to remembering backward changes the neural circuitry that processes the experience. And the circuitry determines the chemistry, and the chemistry determines the electromagnetic frequency, and the frequency determines what the quantum field delivers. The law of attraction teaches you to imagine forward. Neville Goddard teaches you to remember backward. Same desire, completely different neural pathway, completely different chemistry, completely different result. A business owner in his early 50s described the impact of temporal reversal on his finances. He said, I spent 5 years imagining being wealthy, vision boards, future scripting, detailed plans. Nothing happened. When I switched to remembering being wealthy, when I shifted the entire experience to past tense and felt it as something that already happened months ago, my body responded differently. The planning anxiety disappeared. The doubt dissolved. And my body produced a feeling of calm certainty that I had never been able to manufacture with future visualization. Within 3 months, my financial reality shifted in ways my 5 years of future imagining never produced. What can you do? Take the body sensation from the first component and place it in the past. Do not feel what it will be like when money is handled. Feel what it was like. As a memory. Something you experienced weeks ago. Something settled. Something done. Your body knows the difference between anticipating and remembering. and it produces completely different chemistry for each. Give it a memory, not a hope. Here is a practical way to make temporal reversal work immediately for your finances. Think about a financial desire you have. Now, instead of imagining the moment it arrives, imagine a boring Tuesday 3 weeks after it arrived. What are you doing on that Tuesday? Not celebrating, not being excited, just living, checking your phone with calm, making coffee in a kitchen that is yours, walking to a car that is paid for. The mundane after is the key, because mundane is what memories feel like. Exciting is what wishes feel like. And your brain classifies experiences as memory or wish based on how mundane or exciting they feel. Make it boring. Make it routine. Make it so ordinary that your brain cannot tell the difference between this constructed memory and a real one. That confusion is the missing step working. When your brain cannot tell the difference, it processes both as fact, and facts generate the stable, coherent electromagnetic frequency that the quantum field responds to. The law of attraction never taught this temporal direction. It always pointed forward. And forward is where doubt lives. The missing step points backward, and backward is where certainty lives. The third component of the missing step is called sustained coherence, and it answers the question that haunts every person who has ever had the law of attraction work once and then stop. Why did it stop? The answer involves a simple piece of math that will change how you understand every manifestation practice you have ever done. Many people have experienced brief moments where the law of attraction seemed to work. A check appeared, an opportunity materialized, a financial breakthrough happened. But then things returned to normal. The abundance was temporary, and they concluded that the law of attraction works sometimes, but not consistently. The reason for the inconsistency is that they achieved the frequency of wealth momentarily, but could not sustain it. And the quantum field responds not to momentary frequencies, but to sustained ones. Think of it like a radio station. If you tune to a station for 3 seconds and then switch to another, you do not hear a song, you hear fragments, static, noise. But if you stay on one station for 3 minutes, the song plays clearly. Your wealth frequency works the same way. 3 seconds of feeling wealthy followed by 16 hours of feeling poor produces financial static, not wealth. The law of attraction does not teach sustained coherence. It teaches peak moments. Visualize intensely for 10 minutes, affirm passionately for 5 minutes, and then return to your normal state of financial anxiety for the rest of the day. Those peak moments produce momentary frequency spikes that the quantum field registers but cannot stabilize, because stability requires duration, not intensity. And duration is what the missing step provides through a specific daily practice. Neville Goddard taught this as living in the state, not visiting the state for 10 minutes, living in it, throughout the day, as your baseline, not as a practice you do, as a person you are. The practical method for sustained coherence is what we call the 3-window system. Your brain enters states of maximum receptivity 3 times per day. Upon waking, during the midday ultradian reset around 1 to 2 p.m., and before sleep. Each window lasts approximately 60 seconds of maximum receptivity. By impressing the feeling of wealth accomplished at each of these 3 windows, you create a 24-hour cycle of coherence sustained by 3 anchor points. Morning sets the frequency, midday confirms it, night seals it for 8 hours of sleep processing, 3 minutes of total practice, 24 hours of sustained coherence. The law of attraction gives you the direction. The 3-window system gives you the duration. And duration is what converts an occasional frequency spike into a permanent financial state. A woman in her early 60s described the impact of sustained coherence. She said, "I had been doing the law of attraction for years, beautiful morning sessions. Then the rest of the day was stress and worry. When I added the midday reset and the night impression, something shifted in the second week. The financial anxiety that used to flood back by noon stayed quiet. The peace from my morning practice lasted longer, and by the 3rd week, the peace was my baseline, not my practice, my baseline. And from that baseline, money started showing up differently, not dramatically, naturally, as if it had always been there and I had just stopped pushing it away. Here is the mathematics of why sustained coherence transforms the law of attraction from occasional to inevitable. One peak moment of wealth frequency per day surrounded by 16 hours of poverty. Frequency produces a net signal of poverty. The math is simple. 1 hour of positive signal minus 16 hours of negative signal equals 15 hours of net negative. Your quantum field receives 15 hours of lack per day. No amount of morning intensity can overcome that deficit, but 3 60-second windows strategically placed throughout the day change the equation. The morning window sets the frequency before the day corrupts it. The midday window recalibrates the frequency at the point where it typically collapses, and the night window seals the frequency for 8 hours of uninterrupted signal. Instead of one peak versus 16 valleys, you have 3 peaks that divide the day into manageable segments. No single segment is longer than 6 to 8 hours, and your nervous system can maintain a frequency for 6 to 8 hours between resets. The net signal shifts from 15 hours of lack to approximately 20 hours of coherence, and 20 hours of coherent wealth frequency per day is more than enough for the quantum field to stabilize a new financial reality. Not in years, in weeks. Now I want to guide you through the complete missing step experience. Close your eyes, relax your body completely. We are going to apply all 3 components in sequence. First, shift from thought to sensation. Stop thinking about money. Instead, feel what your body feels like when money is handled. Shoulders drop, chest opens, breathing deepens, jaw softens. Feel it physically, not mentally. In your muscles, in your bones, in the space of your chest. Second, reverse the time direction. This sensation you are feeling is not about the future. It is a memory. It already happened. Weeks ago, you became financially free. It is done. It is past. And you are simply remembering it with the calm of someone revisiting a settled fact. Feel how the sensation changes when you place it in the past. The urgency disappears. The hope dissolves. What remains is the quiet certainty of memory. Third, commit to sustaining this coherence. Not for 10 minutes, for 24 hours, using the 3 windows. Tomorrow morning before you touch your phone, 60 seconds of this sensation. Tomorrow afternoon when the midday dip arrives, 60 seconds of this sensation. Tomorrow night as you fall asleep, this sensation as the last impression. 3 windows, 3 minutes. And the law of attraction, finally complete with its missing step, begins to produce the financial results it always promised but could never deliver alone. When you open your eyes, you carry the missing step with you, not as a concept, as a body sensation, not as a philosophy, as a practice, not as hope, as memory. Stay in this experience for one more breath. Notice how different this feels from every law of attraction exercise you have ever done. The traditional exercises activated your brain. This activated your body. The traditional exercises pointed toward the future. This remembers from the past. The traditional exercises were events that lasted 10 minutes. This is building a state that lasts 24 hours. Feel the difference in your nervous system, the calm of memory versus the anxiety of hope, the certainty of the past versus the uncertainty of the future, the stability of a fact versus the fragility of a wish. This is the missing step, and you are experiencing it right now, not reading about it, experiencing it, in your body, in your chest, in the quiet certainty that settles when you stop wishing forward and start remembering backward. What you learned today fills the gap that millions of people have been struggling with. The law of attraction gave them direction without mechanism. Neville Goddard gave them the mechanism. The shift from thought to sensation changes what produces your frequency. The temporal reversal changes how your brain processes it, and the sustained coherence changes how long the frequency holds. 3 components that transform the law of attraction from an incomplete map into a complete navigation system for your financial reality. The bridge has been built, the city is visible, and the crossing begins tonight, not through more thinking, through more feeling, not through imagining forward, through remembering backward, not through peak moments, through sustained coherence. The missing step was never complicated. It was just never taught. Until now. Think about what you learned today in the context of your entire manifestation journey. Every book you read about the law of attraction gave you a piece of the puzzle. The power of positive thinking, the importance of visualization, the role of belief. Each piece was real. Each piece was valuable. But none of them alone could produce consistent financial results because the mechanism that converts thought into reality was missing. That mechanism is the body, the feeling, the sensation, not the idea of wealth. The physical experience of wealth as a settled memory in your nervous system. Neville Goddard did not disagree with the law of attraction. He completed it. He found the bridge that connects the map to the city, and tonight you walk across that bridge for the first time, not with your mind, with your body, not toward the future, from the past, not for a moment, for 24 hours. The law of attraction brought you this far. The missing step takes you home. Write in the comments I found the missing step, followed by which of the three components resonates most with you. Thought to sensation, temporal reversal, or sustained coherence. When you name the component that was missing for you personally, you identify exactly where your law of attraction practice was incomplete, and identification is the first step of completion. Share this video with every person who tried the law of attraction for money and gave up because it did not work. Because it was not that it did not work. It was that the step that makes it work was never included. This video includes it. Subscribe and turn on notifications because the next video will reveal the 3 signs that the missing step is working and the specific financial shifts that happen in the first 21 days after you add it to your practice. Do not miss it. The law of attraction brought you here. The missing step takes you the rest of the way.